Blast me to Cyphos! It's time for the Mad Merlin's Warhammer 40,000 Imperium journey. Halfway special. Issue 40, Part 1, Lore, Build and Paint Guides. Hello and welcome back to the Mad Merlin's Imperium journey. So yes, we are on issue 40. This is halfway through our collection. So we've got another 40 issues to go. And boy, do we have some amazing stuff to come soon. But continuing with this issue, we've got our final Adeptus Mechanicus model, which is our third and final Cataphron Destroyer. So we've got his 60mm base here. We've got our model. And we've got our magazine with a lovely shot of the big bad Abaddon himself. So in this magazine we get a single miniature. We have information on the fall of Cadia, the different wars of Armageddon, and new mission packs and a new mission. So let's dive in. We'll have a look at our model first and then we'll go through our magazine. So here we have our third and final Cataphron Destroyer, and it is another nice model. As we can see, we've got much the same detail as the previous model, but we have a few unique bits that helps it be different to our previous two. So again, we've got different heads. We've got the one we'll be using with the larger double eye targeters there, and the smaller breacher head just there. Barrel for the grav cannon, the flamer, the main gun itself, the grav cannon there, the torsion cannon, which is used for the breachers, as well as the arc rifle, and our plasma cannon up here, plus the plasma ammo. And you've got a nice variety of spare servo arms, so you can easily personalise your models. Got the armor plates for the breacher as well, the stubber, the two different types of claw, and all the usual details we get. So again, we have another unique setup for the engine. So we've got a sideways vented engine here, and we've got a little armor cap to go over the top of it. Oh, another nice model, and I'm glad we have a full squad of 3 now. Really fun to use these in game. Alright, moving on with issue 40, the magazine itself. So, we've got some nice information here. We've got the fall of Cadia. So this is the start of the Gathering Storm series, which kicked off 7th edition, I believe it was. Kicked off and ended 7th edition because it brought back Guilliman. And then not long after that, we moved into 8th edition with the starts of the Plague Wars. But let's have a look at what we get. So our full contents: the Unsanctioned Divergence, so a new bit of background information for our Adeptus Mechanicus force, the Gathering Storm, Fall of Cadia, the Salamanders chapter of Space Marines, Warzone Armageddon, and Belisarius Call. Building and painting, we've got our final Cataphron Destroyer, and we only have one piece of information for our missions this issue, and that is our final battle on Cyphos. So let's have a look then at what we have. So the Adeptus Mechanicus Unsanctioned Divergence. Tech priests who spend their lives in the field are known to develop even more extreme and divergent methods with which to combat the enemies of the Red Planet. Many are modified as Catarian war machines in mind and body to better serve their elaborate goals. Just gives you a little bit of fluff about how each tech marine will differ and how differences will affect their forces. This is amplified with a D6 chart. You simply roll and you get 2 results. So I got, for my Tech Priest Dominus, turns a blind eye to heresy in the pursuit of knowledge. So that kind of works. For my background of being the Magos Biologus. So anything that will help us understand biology better, my guy is going to just turn his eye on heresy. So he's probably Questor Nolan, who joined the Sisters of Battle on the planet Holos, where they found the clone technology. So the effect on the Scutari Maniple is they get their minds regularly wiped. So yeah, even if he was that particular tech priest, these guys wouldn't remember it. The Engine Seer has a similar ability that will affect the Cataphron Destroyers. So he pushes and tortures machine spirits beyond their limit, which is why, again, it fits for being the Magos Biologist. He doesn't really care much for machines, except for the machine of organic life. And so the side effect is that my Destroyer's engines scream in agony as they advance. So basically, you're going to hear me coming before you see me blowing your face off. That sounded so wrong. Anyway, moving on, we have Gathering Storm, Fall of Cadia. So like I said, Gathering Storm was one of the biggest changes in the lore. It had a worldwide campaign where you were encouraged to go along to your local store, and the events, what happened at the events would help towards changing the fate of the galaxy. So for thousands of years, Cadia stood watch over the Eye of Terror, repelling each and every assault launched against its fortresses. Yet when Abaddon the Spoiler's 13th Black Crusade emerged from the warp in all its dark and twisted glory, the planet's doom was finally sealed. So this pretty much is, like I said, this was the end of 7th, beginning of 8th edition. We saw the return of a Primarch, the birth of a new god, and the return of a living saint and the master of machines. But like I said, it kicked off pretty much the change from 7th to 8th edition. It sees a lot of character development, a lot of old characters will disappear, most notably Castellan Creed of the Imperial Guard is captured by Trazan. Trazan basically goes Pokeball go and captures Creed, takes him off to his museum. Belisarius Cawl obviously returns and brings with him the full might of the Adeptus Mechanicus. The Living Saint Celestine returns in a brand new form and begins a quest to help revive Brute Guilliman. So here we are, the Triumvirate of the Imperium, which is a box set. I remember me and a few friends went went thirds on this. I had Sisters of Battle at the time, so I had Saint Celestine. One friend collected Adeptus Mechanicus, so he had Belisarius Cawl. And my other friend, who had Imperial Guard, got Greyfax as a nice Inquisitor. So we got a little information about each of them. And a short blurb about the fall of Cadia. So yeah, Abaddon leads his biggest crusade, crashes a giant blackstone fortress into Cadia, and the planet erupts. So while Cadia fell, it is still in our hearts. Moving on, we have information about a new chapter of Space Marines. So this is the Salamanders, the Dragon Warriors. No, not Poe from Kung Fu Panda. The Salamanders are a first founding chapter and have served the Imperium since before the Great Crusade. They are a brotherhood of warrior craftsmen who turn their mastery of fire upon mankind's foes. The Salamanders' refusal to yield in the face of the enemy is legendary. So this issue does focus a bit quite on Salamanders because they were important in one of the earlier wars of Armageddon, which we'll get to in a moment. But these guys have been around. They were heirs of Primarch Vulcan, who was obviously one of the Primarchs of the Emperor's creation. They were a legion originally in the Heresy. They only just accept the Codex. They do still do things their own way. And they are waiting for the day that their Primarch will return to them, because Vulcan is one of the Eternals, basically. He can't die, and even when he does die, he will eventually be reborn. So they are questing to gather his ancient relics that will hopefully bring him back. So the Salamanders are masters of the Forge and will use it in all theatres of war. So they are specialising in melter and flamer weaponry. They have legendary characters who, well, he's pretty recent. Adrax Agatone, who is captain of the 3rd Company. He has a pretty nasty hand flamer and a thunderhammer there. And very similar to most Salamanders, he has a Drake scale cloak. Right, here we have the start of a Warzone Armageddon. So, the planet of Armageddon has been the site of great battles, notable victories, and crushing defeats. Now, however, it faces its greatest peril. So, since the Cicatrix Benedictum split the galaxy in half, Armageddon has become yet again more and more invaded by the Orc hordes. So, we've got Orc invasions and a demonic phenomena detected on Armageddon itself. We have the warp passage to Golgotha, which is pretty much the home of the Orcs, and Gazgul Mag Uruk Fracker. So yeah, the Orcs are trying to get back Armageddon. Armageddon is, I believe, originally known as Ulanor, which is where, of course, Horus was crowned War Master. And this is a very important planet for various reasons. It's home to the Armageddon Steel Legion of the Imperial Guard. There's important hives, and I believe there's important forges there as well that create certain types of vehicles. I mean, there's Armageddon patterns of Lima Russes, I believe. So yeah, it's a very important world, and the Orcs are one of the most common forces to fight. Speaking of the Orcs, here's our big bad Gazgul Fracker, who is the gothiest of the goth, the gittiest of the gits, and just the orkiest of orcs. Even though he's had his head cut off, he's back for revenge on those Umis. Armageddon hasn't just been the focus of the Orcs. Angron and the Traitor Legion, the World Eaters, have also made it their battle zone, and have raised demonic legions over the surface on multiple occasions. Our final piece of information then is all about Archmagus Belisarius Cawl. So, Archmagus Belisarius Cawl was old even at the birth of the Imperium. Over 10,000 years ago, he is a tech savant, a genius in the forefront of whatever field to which he turns his mind, and has fabricated many wondrous technologies for the betterment of the Imperium. So, of course, Belisarius Cawl was important in not only bringing the Dectus Mechanicus to the forefront of the Imperium, but also he was key in the Primaris project, which we can see here. So we got our standard Firstborn Marine, then the upgraded Primaris Space Marines. So he basically created new genes that go in and new organs to help improve a Space Marine beyond what they were, and helped to create the Ultima Founding. There we have him wielding his gigantic Axe Mechanicum. And we've got a little quote from Inquisitor Greyfax there. Moving on then, we've got our build guide for our destroyer. So the same as the previous build guide, cautions on clippings, building of sub-assemblies, and then cleaning off your contact points for gluing to your base. So we've got parts 13 on our previous frame, don't forget to dig those out. So again, our main chassis and the tracks go together much the same as the old other two. Then we got a slightly different engine setup. Then again, the torso goes together much the same as the previous ones. And we've gone back to plasma, so we're going to be giving this guy a flamer. And then his plasma arm built on there. And finally for this issue, let's have a quick look at our paint guide. So much like the paint guide of the first destroyer that we did, getting 3 coats of lead belcher down, picking out the blue and the corn red details. Before we give a overall wash of non-oil, then we pick out Rakoff Flesh, Mornfang Brown and Runod Brass before washing those areas with Agrax Earthshade. Then we're picking out the undersuit, cables and the Cog Mechanicums of Abaddon Black, skin and half of the Cog Mechanicum in Corax White, a light wash of non-oil, then basing our models as per issue 38 with Astro Granite, not Agrax, and some non-oil. And here we have all 3 of our destroyers together. So all that's left for this issue is our final battle, and that will be a pretty bumper issue because it is a pretty sizable force and we're using 2 mats instead of the normal 1. So I will be back for our battle report in part 2, but all that's left for me to do is to thank you very much for watching. If you think I deserve it, please give me a like and consider subscribing if you don't already do so. There's all my affiliate links and my social media links in the description down below. And don't forget to check back for more mad content. I will see you next time. Goodbye.